All week long, our First Alert weather team has been reporting on climate change and the impacts it's having right here in Connecticut.
First Alert meteorologist Darren Sweeney continues our series tonight with a look at how a rising and warming ocean is already impacting our state.
The scientists say the data is clear. Our climate is warming and sea levels are rising. And you may be surprised to see how the changes may impact you, your wallet, and these impacts don't stop at our beaches.
The beauty of our Connecticut shoreline. This is a view of Guilford Harbor, an awe-inspiring look captured by Drone Ranger. But even though our shoreline has been known to show the best of nature's beauty, it is also famous for showing nature's fury. We here in Connecticut are certainly no stranger to big storms, especially with Irene and Sandy in our rearview mirror. But looking to the future, a rising sea level due to climate change means a growing risk for flooding, even without a storm nearby.
There was so much damage.
James Philly is a Guilford native. Even after a lifetime of experiencing storms at the shore, he describes Superstorm Sandy's aftermath. He says he can't imagine more water and potentially bigger storms in the future.
For me and my family to see what the hurricane had done and everything that was underwater and so many people devastated by it, it was really hard. It was heartbreaking.
We're starting to see the amount of sea level rise accelerate.
Sean Sublett is a meteorologist at the New Jersey-based Climate Central. That's an organization of leading scientists who track changes in climate, including sea level rise. He says the data is clear. With increased greenhouse gases, the climate is warming. That means more land ice and glaciers melting at the poles, and that rising water is having a local impact here at home.
Meteorologists and scientists that have been studying our shoreline say that our water line has already risen about a half a foot. That may not seem like a lot, but scientists say that our water line could rise about 4 to 8 feet over the next century. That's about where I'm standing right now, and they say that could have massive consequences on our shoreline and our way of life.
You start to have higher tides and higher tidal flooding. Sometimes it's called nuisance flooding. It's flooding that occurs on a sunny day.
The increase in flooding and changing climate has the insurance industry taking notice.
A once in 500-year storm should happen every 500 years, right? Fact is, there have been 26 in the last decade.
They are taking notice because a rising ocean means flooding is occurring in places that never flooded in the past.
The word out there is that a quarter of flood claims are to properties that are not in flood zones. So people need to recognize what their risks are.
The insurance department says that in some cases, the cost to insure a home near the water in Connecticut has gone up by 50% since storms Irene and Sandy.
And these are conversations, tough conversations, that have to be had as to land use, when to rebuild, where to rebuild.
Scientists say this isn't just a shoreline problem anymore.
You've got heavier flooding of streams and creeks. So you've got flooding inland and flooding on the coastline.
And while different industries plan for the future, those living and working on the front lines here in the state do what they can to protect themselves and their property.
Especially the houses that were devastated have lifted their houses up and put them up on stilts.
Think it's enough?
I don't know, Darren. That's going to be only Mother Nature will be able to tell.
Now, for this report, we went straight to some of the leading experts on climate change. They tell us Connecticut is doing well in planning for the future, but they say our success is also dependent on other states and other countries. Our experts had a lot to say on our rising sea levels. We've put a link on our website where you can watch more of what they had to say about Connecticut and predictions for the future. Head on over to NBCConnecticut.com and search climate change. Darren Sweeney, NBC Connecticut News.